Welcome fans of Magic the Gathering, welcome to Casual MTG Decks, the channel that is not about powerful Magic decks. I'm sorry, it's not about winning the Pro Tour. It's also not about the most powerful turn 2 combo, but it is about fun decks, it is about flavorful decks, it is about building rare, cool, janky tribal decks with fun combos in it. And sometimes when you build a deck, it's even that rare that it is like an albino. And in our case, an albino dragon. So yes, we're back with another deck, with another dragon deck. And also I'm going to add some dragon cards from Adventures from the Forgotten Realms. And who is also here is our intern Nora. She helps me with the edits just one more week because then it's exams again. And Nora, I've asked you, tell me, do some research about the albino deck. Tell me what you found.
Well, I have found this card.
Ah yes, very iconic, but what did you find about the albino dragon?
I found lots of deck lists.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought so. So here at Casual MTG Decks you will find the original albino white dragon deck, and what you can also find here is a voucher from our cards at Cardmarket. And Cardmarket, that's of course the biggest platform in Europe to buy your Magic singles, to buy all your Magic product. And if you want to try out Cardmarket, very simple, check out the link in the description below the video on how to contact me, and I will give you a free €5 Cardmarket voucher to try out the best platform to get your Magic singles. Really cool, you can get some singles, you can get a booster if you're new, try it out and send me a mail. Oh yeah, and do stick around until the end of the video because I also have a small giveaway at the end of the video for a €10 Cardmarket voucher. Now on to the deck. Now I try to build my casual flavorful decks for around $50 around €40. This one is maybe a little bit over that, but that's the fault of 2 cards actually. So you can also skip them and make it even a lot cheaper. Now of course this is an albino deck. Albino! So that means mono white. My pick for the lands is a reprint from Modern Horizons 2. I really love what I call the Lightning Plains. And it's also a pick. If you have them in foil, keep them because I think they will go up in value soon. So 14 copies of the Lightning Plains in this deck. Although we should warn the guy that is standing next to a tree with these lightning clouds on the way, might be not the best place to stand. Then I included 2 Evolving Wilds and 2 Secluded Steppe. And then you might ask yourself the question, Bram, why 2 Evolving Wilds? Well, wait a little bit, that will become clear very soon. Of course, our dragon deck includes a Haven of the Spirit Dragon and a Cave of the Frost Dragon. Mono white and drawing cards don't really go well together, so that's why I included a Cryptic Caves and a Bonder's Enclave. Idyllic Grange adds a counter and New Benalia Scries, so 2 handy lands in the deck. Emeria the Sky Rune is maybe a bit pricey, but I promise you it's worth to have it in your collection. You can get back a creature card each turn when you have 7 or more planes. So these were the lands, now let's look at our dragons. The first one looks more like a cat, but it's a changeling too, so also a dragon. Nadar Selfless Paladin is a 3/3 with vigilance that also ventures into a dungeon. So that's quite a bit of value for this 3 mana. Icingdeath Frost Tyrant is also a great one. Only 4 mana for a 4/3 flying with vigilance. So that's quite decent, but when it dies it also turns into a equipment. A sword that gives you +2/+0 and it taps a creature when you attack. And it equips for only 2 mana. Next up, Sunscorched Regent. A dragon that gets bigger very fast and it gains you some extra life. And Scalelord Reckoning is a 4/4 flyer with the ability whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. Really strong and also a little bit pricey. Next up, 2 dragons from the Tarkir era. Ward Scale Dragon cancels your opponent's combat tricks, and the Shield High Dragon gains you some life, and it also can morph and put counters on each dragon you control. Eternal Dragon and Timeless Dragon can both be cycled to get you a Plains card, and they can also return from the graveyard. The next one is a dragon you probably never heard of. It's called Ancestor Dragon. It's a 5/6 and it gains you life whenever creatures attack. White Dragon is probably the most albino of all dragons. So it also warrants 1 copy in the deck. A 4/4 flyer for 6 mana that taps a creature when it enters the battlefield. And the last dragon is a legendary dragon.
Legendary.
Of course. It's called Yosei, and when this one dies, target player skips its untap step. And you can tap up to 5 permanents of that player. And it's also a 5/5 flying for 6 mana. Now, the Adventures of the Forgotten Realms also gave us an albino dragon Planeswalker. And it's a Planeswalker who apparently also loves flowers. Part I don't really understand.
Who doesn't like flowers?
Yeah, okay. Okay, Nora, you got a point. The Lover of All Flowers comes into play with 3 loyalty. It can paralyze a creature without vigilance, double strike or first strike, so this one can't attack or block until your next turn. Or you can search your library or graveyard for a Monk of the Open Hand. Now the cool thing is that when this one has 7 or more loyalty, it becomes a 7/7 dragon god creature with flying and indestructible.
That still likes flowers.
Yeah, probably does. Now, our dragons in the deck are not the only creatures. We also have a bunch of monks and clerics that worship them. The first one definitely likes flowers, and he also likes you to cast more spells each turn, and then he gets bigger. Dragon Disciple enters mostly as a 2/4 for 2 mana, which is solid, and it also gives your dragons ward 1. Next up, another defensive monk that blocks flies and usually draws you a card. It's called Orator of Ojutai. The Mother of Dragons in this deck is the Mother of Runes, and it's flanked by 2 Professors of Symbology. A cleric that learns when it comes into play. So we better include some lesson cards in our sideboard to search for. Here are a few suggestions that I put in: some ramp, some card draw, and some removal or an extra creature. Sylvia Bridespear is also a must include in the deck. Giving dragons double strike is very strong with all our dragons in the deck, and it also has double strike itself. And as this is more of a mid-range controlling mono-white deck, we also need the following card. Sun Titan is a big 6/6 giant with vigilance for 6 mana, and when it enters the battlefield or when it attacks, you can put a permanent card with mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard onto the battlefield. So let's see if we can include some permanents for our Sun Titan. This first one looks a little bit like a metal handpan. It's called Brainstone, and you can sack it to draw 3 cards and then put 2 on top of your library. Next up, another stone, Mind Stone. It helps you ramp or it draws you a card. Dragonheart is some extra mana ramp and card draw in the deck. And Oketra's Monument makes white creatures cheaper and adds some extra blockers when you play a creature spell. Now let's finish our deck with some removal. Soul Snare and Seal of Cleansing are good removal cards, and they're both permanents that can be returned with the Sun Titan. We also want to include some nice spot removal, so let's include a Swords to Plowshares and a Winds of Abandon that both exile creatures. To finish our albino dragon deck, we have some nice moss removal. Day of Judgment, Austere Command and Planar Cleansing can reset the board when your opponent is putting too much pressure on you. So this was our mono white albino dragon deck. I hope you liked it. Before we leave, I still have a winner announcement for you. Nora, who won our card market voucher this week?
Congrats Patrick Gooder, you won the €10 card market voucher. Check out the info in the description down below to find out how to claim your voucher.
Thank you, Nora. Now if you also want to win an extra €10 card market voucher, you can do so. Leave in the comments below against which deck you want to see this albino dragon deck battle it out in the gauntlet. And then you also might win a prize. You can find our gauntlet list here as well. And until then, keep it casual. Bye.